Welcome, 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 welcome. Good to see all of you. Hopefully my screen will be sharing in just a moment. All right, yay. So I'm going to give us a couple minutes just for everybody to settle in and for everybody to arrive, but it is great to see you all. So hello, Monica? I hope I say your name right. Monica, Dawn, Janetta, Shay, Onilaja, good to see you again. Tiona, good to see all of you. Thank you for spending time with me and coming out tonight. So this is It's My Time, Black Women, Mental Health, and Entrepreneurship. So hello, I think Nicole just joined us. And if you don't mind sharing in the chat, where are you? So where are you viewing from? If you don't mind sharing in the chat, where are you viewing from? So I am in San Jose, California. Where are you? Or feel free to just come off of a mute and share with us. Jeanette, I can see you, Queen. Where are you viewing from? You got a lovely smile. We can't hear you yet. Let me see if I can unmute you. There you are. Where are you viewing from, Queen? I still can't hear you. What happened? Is it me? You're unmuted. There you are. I think. Somebody. Well, Jeanette, I'm going to see if I can get through to you, but hold on just a moment. I see Nicole. Nicole, where are you viewing from?
Nashville, Tennessee.
Nashville, Tennessee. How's the weather over there?
Not too bad. Not too hot at all. Nice.
You get fireflies out in Nashville?
No.
No, you don't get
Not that
fireflies.
I know of.
Oh, that's tragic. 'Cause I know in DC they got fireflies. They were so beautiful. Look like little fairies.
Oh, no.
Well, it's nice to have you all the way from Nashville. I'm in Cali.
Thank
It's
you.
hot over here too.
Okay.
I guess I should show my face at least once.
Wait, who is this? Who's speaking?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Shayla.
Hey Shayla, where are you viewing from, Queen?
I'm Dallas, Texas.
Okay, Miss Dallas, Texas, and we one letter away from having the same name. nice,
Oh yeah, we sure are.
right?
That's right.
Shayla, Sharla. Well, good
That's
to see
right.
you. Miss Onilaja, aren't you? Where are you? Are you in? Not in Trinidad. Where are you from? Where are you, Queen? Trinidad.
Trinidad, you all right?
I remember Trinidad. Trinidad in the house. Good to see you. Jeanette, I don't know if I can hear you yet, Queen. I can see your beautiful smile, your cute little glasses. Where are you from, Jeanette? I still can't hear you. You got to throw up like this is West this is West Coast, West Side. You have to throw up sign language because I can't hear you. So here, let's do this. If you're on the East Coast, give me a number 1. If you're on what is it, Central Time, number 2. Mountain Time, oh, number 2. Okay, and number 2. See, I don't know any states out there. I'm ignorant. But I know that you're not in Cali. Got you, Jeanette. I didn't pass geography, even though I taught history, but I didn't pass geography, y'all.
She's cute.
If anyone else would like to share where you are viewing from, feel free. I don't think I can see the chat from where I'm at. I wanted to welcome you all to our time together. So I'm gonna stop sharing for just a moment. The reason why I am hosting this event is because Black women are often neglected when it comes to the conversation of mental health. And there's so little help available to us and for us. And I'm really heartbroken by that because y'all are my sisters. And I know what happens for us a lot of times is people don't even see our symptoms. They think it's, they see it through this eyes of stereotypes. So for example, one of my many mental health issues causes me to be angry. And people could easily just say, oh, you're an angry Black woman, rather than seeing that as a symptom of one of my mental health conditions. So it was really important to me as somebody who lives with numerous mental health conditions to hold this space, because most of the time when we talk about mental health, it is a very, very white space. Can I get an amen? Anybody had that experience of being talking about mental health and it ain't you, right? It's usually a very, very white space. And then even with the clinical tests that they have out there, they do the tests on white men. So again, we're never really considered. However, dealing with racism, sexism, potentially homophobia, transphobia, classism, able-bodiedism, all the things that we deal with is definitely going to have a negative
Ageism.
impact on our mental health. Did you say ageism? That too.
Yeah.
That too. My mom actually, she helps women who are mature of mature age embrace their age, and she's always noticing the ageism as well, right? Everything's about being young and not having any wrinkles and Botox and yeah, all of that. So it really takes a negative impact on our mental health. And one of the things that I personally experience is that trying to hold down a job and take care of my mental health, those things generally could not exist in the same space. And it's because nobody really is looking out for Black women. So it was important to me to have this space because as I was late diagnosed. I'll let you know right now. I was late diagnosed with bipolar 2. So I didn't get that diagnosis until I was 37. I got it from a psychiatrist who was pretty racist, and I didn't believe it. They didn't give me a lot of help. It wasn't until the last couple years that I got really serious about my bipolar 2 and transformed my whole life to manage it. So I was in education for over 20 years, working 40 plus hours a week. Anybody else in education, you know the pain, right? The struggle is real. Oh, I see the chat. The struggle is real in education. Um, and especially when, oh, I can see you now. I can see a lot now. Especially when you're trying to advocate for Black and brown students. So when you're really trying to fight white supremacy in the schools, it is very lonely. It's very taxing on your mental health. And so I knew that if I stayed in that position, I was not going to be able to be well. So I ended up starting my own business as an entrepreneur. And why that mattered, y'all, is because I could then work with my energy levels, right? So I don't know about y'all, raise your hand if any of this is true for you, but like I struggle with sleep, right? And I have insomnia a lot of times. I struggle with even just little things like drinking water throughout the day or just making sure I'm eating throughout the day. I struggle with managing my stress and just feeling overwhelmed and just staying on top of things that other people don't worry about, like taking care of their mail or their laundry. I struggle with the seasons. When the seasons change, it has an impact on me. I really have to be mindful of my self-care. So I was not going to be able to really take good care of myself while managing a 40-hour-a-week job. Is that true for any of y'all? So let me know in the chat if any of this resonates with you, if you really struggle with this whole idea of I'm supposed to be able to take care of myself and hold down this job and take care of everybody else at the same time. Yes, you're not alone. Yes, you're not alone, Brandy. You're not alone, Queen, at all. So what happened for me was I hit a wall is what happened. I did what a lot of us do. I kept doing what I was comfortable with. So I left teaching and I was substitute teaching and Uber driving because that allowed me a little bit more freedom in my schedule. And I knew that it was time for me to start my own business, but I was really, really scared. Yes, resonates for sure. I used to think I was a failure. Yes, you're in the right place. You're in the right place, right? Yes, I know all about that. So I knew I wanted to start my own business, but I didn't think I had what it took to do that. Like, who was I to think I could start a business? And that's what happens to us as Black women in the corporate space, is that we feel like we suck. We feel like failures. We're always overlooked. We're frequently like not promoted. We don't get the leadership positions. We get fired, and we internalize that. We think that there's something wrong with us when really it's the racist, sexist, system. It doesn't love us. It doesn't want us in power. So I didn't think that I had what it took to start a business. Who was I to start a business? What do I know about starting a business? I thought that what I had to do was just find the right job. I just had to find the right job that will accommodate me and that will look out for me and that will care about all my mental health issues. And the unfortunate reality is for Black women is that that job doesn't exist. There is no mental health for Black women. Unfortunately, that job doesn't exist. And I was pushed. Spirit was pushing me to start an anti-racist consulting business. So I was dealing with racism in the schools already, right? And I was getting tired of that. So I decided to start a business around doing anti-racism work with the schools. Within 10 months, y'all, I got my business to 6 figures. Now, why is this a big deal? Because I was a broke teacher. And at the time, before I started my business, I was contemplating living in my car because I live in California where like you can't afford nothing out here. So I was like, oh, maybe if I can live in my car, I can hold down my teaching job and then save some money. That's my Google search was. That's what I was looking up on YouTube was how can I live in my car? And to go from that to making six figures in 10 months on my terms, and I was in charge, me, right? That was incredible. So that's why I hold this space too, is I want y'all to know that's a possibility for you. That's a possibility for you. I want to ask really quickly, did you grow up knowing that you could be an entrepreneur? Did anybody present that idea to you as a young Black woman that you could start your own business and not have to work for somebody? That's my question for you in the chat, or feel free to come off mute and share. No. Jeanette said no. Me neither, queen, right? So again, the question, kinda. Brandy, tell us about that. If you don't mind sharing, or if you want to see more, oh, came off of mute. Go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, I'll share that. Well, I say kinda because my mother was always, I want to say a free spirit and like always looking for a way to live her life on her terms. And so I didn't realize when I was younger that that's what she was doing. And so she was always like hustling. She sold incense and oil. She became an herbalist. She did all these different things so that she can live life on her terms. And I didn't see it that way. I saw it like, because I was so programmed in society of like, you have to have a job and you're not stable and blah, 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 and all this other crap. And so I didn't view it as what it was when I was younger. And as I got older, I realized both my parents are entrepreneurs. Like my father has always had his like side business on the side. Like he's had a job, but he's always had his hustle, like his side thing. And my mom too. And I didn't realize until I got older, like, whoa, both my parents were entrepreneurs. I didn't acknowledge it and respect it then because I was so caught up in society. And so now that I'm in that position now and I'm older and I'm like, and I've experienced workplace trauma and I'm not going back. Queen, I am not going back. So I'm looking for different ways to live my life on my terms now, similar to how my parents did. So yeah, kind of is how I got to kind of.
I love everything you shared. You're talking to the right one because that's so a lot of times the women I work with tend to be like in their 40s and up. And the reason why is exactly what you said, workplace trauma. Before then, they might be a little optimistic. Maybe if I just find the right job, right? If I find the right boss, right? But when you've survived enough jobs, you realize that doesn't exist. Even if you have the right boss, they can be replaced. I had the right boss. That boss got fired, and a boss that I could not stand took their place. And then my work piece was gone like that, right? So workplace trauma, right? That's what it was for me too. Just the realization of this place is going to kill me. This place is going to kill me. And the reality is that work is killing Black women. 1 out of 2 Black women has a serious heart condition, according to Essence magazine. We're dying of cancers. We're dying of fibroids, mental health issues, right? All kinds of issues are impacting us, and it's chipping away at us slowly. You know, we're dying premature deaths. We're dying before our time, and we don't realize it. And just like you said too, with the programming, right? The programming of thinking that if you are not working in somebody's 9 to 5, you don't have a stable job, or the programming of thinking that I need to go if Google hires me, if Twitter hires me, then I'm set, right? The programming of thinking that, well, if they're paying me $200,000, I don't mind working 70 hours a week, right? Or just giving up all your time. Like, think about how much time we spend on the job. It's insane. I can't go back now to that because I've been an entrepreneur for 3 years now. I'm so spoiled with having my time. Before this, y'all, I was meditating. Before that, I was tie-dyeing. My fingers are a little stained. I was tie-dyeing because it brings me joy, right? The whole day is mine. I can do what I want with my time. And that's what allows me to be well. Because the whole point, I am a business and empowerment coach. I want to be candid about that. And I'm not a psychiatrist. So let me be candid about that too, right? I'm not a psychiatrist, but I am a business and empowerment coach. And my whole focus of teaching Black women entrepreneurship is peace. It's peace. It's not about how much money you can make. That's great. But what I know about being in Silicon Valley is that you can make really great money and not have any peace. There's people out here making great money and they are miserable, right? So I don't want you to just sell you on the, oh, you can make all this money. The biggest and most important part to me is you can be the healthiest version of yourself. The healthiest, like you may not have even met the healthiest version of yourself. I hadn't met the healthiest version of myself until I started working for me. So yes, I saw you, Dawn. So wait, Dawn said no, she did not learn to be an entrepreneur. Tiana did not learn to be an entrepreneur. Workplace trauma is what I'm feeling now. Never heard this term before today. Yeah. Look, magical things happen when Black women get together. That's the other reason why we're here. Is I love being with my sisters. Magical things happen when we come together. And yes, workplace trauma. I can't imagine going back to getting up on somebody's alarm clock, like my alarm clock going off and I'm on your clock and you sitting here pointing to your watch at me. That alone, like, ew, right? I can't deal with that, just because with my mental health conditions, my body goes to sleep when it goes to sleep and I have to have my rest. I can't play with it. I don't care, if you have all this schedule, right? I can't go back to giving up all my free time. I can't go back to not making any good money. I can't go back to working with people who are toxic to me. Go ahead, Brandy. What was your question, Queen?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. That was an accident. I'm sorry.
No problem. No worries. So this space is about showing you all that that's possible. If you are experiencing workplace trauma, Dawn, if you're experiencing workplace trauma, Brandy, I want to just let you know what's possible. So I'm going to share with you a little bit. But you know what? The first thing we didn't do that I think is really important for us to do, let's take a moment to breathe. I'm going to ask you to take a moment to breathe. When I do this with my clients, I tell them to put one hand over their heart, either one hand over their solar plexus, their tummy, or their yoni, which is your vagina. There's a lot of wisdom there. So put your hand wherever you feel comfortable, but take a deep breath in. Hold. Exhale nice and slowly. As a Black woman and femme, you are the original woman. Take a deep breath in. Hold. There is nothing that you cannot have. Exhale slowly. Take a deep breath in. Let go of everything that came before this moment. And exhale slowly. We're going to do one more, and I'm going to ask you to call in your spirit guides, your ancestors, your God, everything that serves you. Take a deep breath in. Hold. And exhale slowly. All right. Always remember that the breath is available to you at any given time, and it could be a game changer. So I like to take a moment to breathe before I work with anybody. So I am Sharla Stevens and the Ancestors. I'm the world's greatest business and empowerment coach for badass Black women. What I can do is I can help us realign with our self-worth, our divine feminine energy, and create online businesses of peaceful profits. Ooh, it's the wrong slide. Sorry. So I used to be a broke, stressed out high school teacher, y'all. And then I became a six-figure anti-racist school consultant, and I started my own business, and it was called Healing Racism in Schools. I was only working 3 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I started my schedule at 11 a.m. Why? Because I deal with insomnia, like a lot of you, or what happens to me as well is like I don't get tired, especially in the summer, till like 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, right? And that's not conducive to when you have to wake up at 8 o'clock, right? So for me, if I go to bed at 2 a.m., but I don't start my day till 11 a.m., I'm still good. I still guaranteed to get my sleep. And that's what I have to do with my mental health conditions, right? So I only worked 3 days a week. I made over 6 figures. I was making great money, but because I was focusing on anti-racism work in schools, which is depressing as hell, I fell into a deadly depression. And I was still caught up in the matrix and still like not really carving out the space I needed on my terms. So still dealing with some masculine energy, and I fell into a deadly depression. So I'm gonna stop that slideshow really quickly. So what happened for me is December of that year, the year that I made the most money in my life, December that year, I'm holding a check for $40,000 written out to me. Never had a check that big written out to me in my life. Should have been the most exciting year. Should have been thrilling, but it wasn't, because I had not really committed to taking care of myself, my mental health. So I was really caught up in the, yay, I'm making all this money and look at me, I started my business, but I still wasn't fully committed to what does it take for me to be well. And what I did is I fell into a serious depression in December of 2021. I was telling my children, who were 9 and 7 at the time, that I was losing my battle with depression and that I wasn't going to make it. And that was a really dire conversation to have with my children. And what I came out of that, I recommitted to living, and I got really clear about, I'm going to have to totally change my life. There are things that are just a non-negotiable. Like self-care cannot be optional. It can't be, if I can fit it in, if I can figure it out, if I have time after work. It had to be the first thing first. Me, pour into me heavily. And if there's energy left, then the job. And one of the things I had to do in order to make that decision was to really put a lot of faith in spirit, right? Be like, look, God, you want me alive. Apparently I live with bipolar 2 disorder. This is no joke, and it requires a lot. And I don't see how I'm going to be able to sustain myself and pour into myself. I don't see how that's possible, but you do. So help me, right? Help me. And so I started my coaching and consulting business for Black women. I started to pivot into doing what I really loved doing, what I knew how to do, and working with people I really enjoyed, right? I don't want to work with racist teachers who are abusing Black and brown kids. I don't care that you pay me really great money, because they did. I could have made, my first year, they were willing to pay me over $300,000 to coach them, but the work was so depressing that I was just like, no, because all money ain't good money. All money is not peaceful profits, right? So I walked away from that to work with y'all. And when I did that, I was scared. I didn't really know what was possible. But I'll say this to you. My journey of falling into suicidal depression and then finding my way out became what I sold. And I say that to tell you that the things that you have struggled with, if you have overcome them, you could coach in that area, you could teach that area. Now, you may not be interested, right, in maybe revisiting things that are traumatic to you, but I want you to know that, because a lot of times we can feel like the things that are holding us back are working against us. So for example, I live with bipolar 2 disorder. I recently discovered I also have ADHD. When I was discovering that my daughter has ADHD, I also found out my mother and my father had ADHD. I also have Pmdd, which is related to ADHD. That's when your period makes you suicidal. And I also have C-Ptsd, which I feel like most Black people do, which is complex post-traumatic stress disorder. So I don't know too many jobs that are going to accommodate all of my needs. I don't know too many jobs that are really going to be looking out for me as far as what I need. Like with ADHD, I need dopamine. If it's not interesting, I can't do it. With bipolar, I'm very much affected by the seasons. My sleep is very much impacted. With PMDD, I need to work around my periods. You can't expect this thing to turn out for me during 2 weeks out of the month. With C-Ptsd, I could be triggered, anything can bring me back to that place of being triggered, right? Being around white folks triggers me and brings back a lot of trauma for me. So my question for you is, the job or the work, the way that you're currently bringing in income for yourself, does it allow you to be well? The way you are currently bringing in income for yourself, does it allow you to be well? Yes, Brandy, it is no joke. And the thing is, nobody knows about any of these disorders because everything's tested on, people without uteruses. Yeah, PMDD is no joke. So does your job or the way that you bring in income right now allow for you to be well? Does it allow for you to be the healthiest version of yourself? That's my question for you in the chat, or feel free to come off mute. I'll write it in the chat. I think I have it in my slides. Oh, you're a mental health counselor. So what's interesting about that, Brandy, and maybe you can enlighten us. Sometimes even within the mental health field, they're not looking out for your mental health, because even the hospitals, like, we know how important sleep is, but they'll have doctors working 36, hours at a time. So as a mental health counselor, do you feel that your job looks out for your mental health as a Black woman who's a caregiver?
Okay. So it's funny you say that. It's funny you say that because when I first entered into this field, I was working for different, I guess, government funded entities,
Mm-hmm.
and they do not allow like work life balance. It was not. They tried to,
Right.
but it wasn't conducive for me. Similar to what you were saying when you were working in the schools and you realized it wasn't really set up to support us.
Yeah.
Those places weren't really set up to support the people that they were supposed to be helping.
Right.
And so because of that, I had to leave because I felt like I was doing more harm than good. And it was just a way to keep them funded, but they weren't really helping the people that they were supposed to be helping. So I went into private practice. When I went into private practice, that's different. Mm-hmm. I'm able to make my own schedule. I'm able to handle my clients the way that I need to. So if I have an emergency, because I do have children, I have a 7-year-old and a 26-year-old, so I don't really have to worry about her. But the 7-year-old I have to worry about. Right, exactly. So once I went into private, I was able to make my schedule the way that I need to make my schedule. And that changed things for me. And it's funny because it's taking time for me to get used to that. Mm-hmm. It's taking me a lot of time to get used to having, to being able to manage my own time, because my time has been managed for me for so long. And so getting into it has been a process, but I'm learning to love it, and I'm loving it every day for sure.
You said a whole lot. I'm gonna get to you, Andrea. Absolutely. So learning to manage your time, learning to get that space back, because for so long, it's almost like, I can't really say this analogy, I haven't been to jail, but I imagine like when you come out of jail and like nobody's telling you like lights out or this time to eat, like it's not, and you just have this freedom. It can be triggering or just overwhelming. Because I went through that same phase as an entrepreneur. Because what happens, y'all, really, let me be clear. If you want to start your own business, and I focus on coaching and consulting businesses, it's not terribly difficult, but the biggest piece is the mindset piece, because we've been so conditioned as Black women to be the worker bee, to serve everyone else. And it can feel foreign, it can feel wrong, we can feel guilty when we center ourselves, when we choose ourselves, when we say, I'm gonna take a nap, or I'm gonna go tie-dye, I'm gonna go do what brings me joy, and to heck with what everybody wants me to do. We can feel guilty about that. And then other people around us can make us feel guilty because the whole society is used to us serving everybody else. That's what they're used to. That's the expectation. So it's really important when you move into the entrepreneurial space to have community around you, right? To have community around you to remind you of those things. So for example, you don't want to recreate the plantation. And that's what a lot of people do, because they're not really creating from nothingness. They're not creating from infinite possibility. They're creating from their trauma, right? You were traumatized at work. You know what you don't want. So you're just running, away from that. And you can end up recreating the plantation. And what I mean by that is, in the entrepreneurial space, you can work 24/7. You can work all day, every day. You can be a slave master to yourself. So one of the things I teach when I work with my clients is how to trust in the universe, how to trust in your divine feminine energy. And what divine feminine energy is attracting things to you rather than what we've been taught, which is go get it, right? Go get it. I can go get it. I'm an Aries. I have some pretty intense masculine energy, but see the gray hairs, y'all? I'm tired, right? I'm tired. I don't want to steamroll over everything. I'd rather just manifest it and let it come to me. So when it comes to starting your own business or being in the space of let me live on my terms, there's a process to it. And this is the part that nobody likes. Everybody's like, I want to immediately get to the part where it's everything's just working out. But you have to move through the process, or like I said, you can easily recreate the plantation. And by that, I mean doing too much, and doing too much for too little. doing too much for too little. And I say that because in the entrepreneurial space, it is Black women who are dominating the space. We are the ones starting the most businesses. We are the ones out here hustling. However, we ain't making no money. We ain't making no money. On average, the average Black woman entrepreneur makes $24,000 a year. That is $2,000 a month. That is not enough to do anything. I mean, in California, I don't know, you should afford to live in your car at that rate. Like, that's not anything. So the reason why, what I tell my clients is, when you're moving from your job into the entrepreneurial space, one of the first things you want to do is rest. And you might even want to grieve, because there's a lot of heartache and just pain around the way you've been mistreated and the trauma you've endured and the abuse, and you need to let that go and not take it into your new future. Right? Yes, plantation trap. What'd you say, Don? Let me get that. Oh, you should just speak up and tell us. The plantation trap. I love the rest is resist. Yes, honey. Yes, I'm all about the Nat Ministry. Trisha Herschel, if you don't know about the Nat Ministry, get with it. But she talks about, like, don't serve capitalism, right? Like, we're taught to either be producing or consume. Either be making stuff to make white men make more money, or buy the stuff that white men have put out there. But when you decide to just pour into you, everybody gets mad. Everybody gets mad. Like, how dare you, Black woman, right? But it's really important that you do that, because no one's looking out for you. So rest, grieve if you need to grieve. And then I say play. And the reason I say play is because you want to create from infinite possibility, not from your trauma, not from your grief, not from your resentment, not from your anger, not from your bitterness. Like, I understand all those feelings are justifiable, but it does not help you create. You don't want to create from that. You want to create from infinite supply. You want to create from abundance. You want to create from peace, from joy, from what's possible, right? And really, really dream. So rest, grieve, and then play, right? In that order. And then from play, you can really start to think about, what do you want for yourself? So I'm gonna paint the picture for y'all again. The reason why I focus on coaching and consulting is because you can make money now. So a lot of people want to be like, well, I want to write the next bestseller, or I want to sell my shea butter or my cheesecakes. Those things take time, right? Those things take overhead. That takes investing in having storage and resources. I have ADHD. I don't have patience for that. I want to produce now, and I want my money now, right? So coaching and consulting allows you to get those things rolling now, not tomorrow, not 3 years from now I'll see a profit, but now, right? And so what does it take? First, again, mindset is the biggest thing. It's going to be those mindset shifts, because what it takes is not much. I was working with San Francisco Unified School District and San Ramon Valley Unified School District as an anti-racist consultant. I was coaching their staff primarily over Zoom. It was less than 10 hours a week. We'll call it 10 hours a week. So maybe it was 10 hours a week over Zoom. It wasn't, but let's say it was, for a total of 40 hours for the month, y'all, for the month. Of actual work, right? And then I did marketing. So let's say that my marketing and my sales calls were like another 10 hours. So roughly 80 hours a month. And I was bringing in $10,000 a month for 80 hours. And most of my day was mine, right? I worked three days a week. I didn't work Mondays. I didn't work Fridays. I didn't work Saturday and Sunday. I worked from my living room. So that was great for my ADHD, right? I didn't have to worry about driving somewhere and getting lost in all the directions. Like, just roll to living room, press Zoom. Sometimes did it from my bedroom. And it was pretty easy. And I'm, as far as marketing, what I teach is LinkedIn. I can teach you how to get your high ticket clients on LinkedIn, because that's what I did. I don't have a large presence anywhere else. I had 13,000 followers at one point on LinkedIn. I built up to that, and that allowed me to get the credibility and authority to then book clients like San Francisco Unified School District. So there's a lot of people out here who are doing it the hard way. I did invest in coaching, so that really helped, and that's one of the reasons I made 6 figures out the gate. But if you just go rogue and you don't have a community and you don't really know what you're doing, it's rough. I'm not going to front, it's rough. But when you simplify the process, it doesn't have to be, right? So again, it could be as simple as you doing online coaching or consulting. I recommend small groups, so I don't do one-on-one. I do one-on-one, but I don't recommend one-on-one because you will lose a lot of money doing one-on-one, meaning that you can't scale as well with one-on-one. So if I have 5 clients for the day and they're all one-on-one, for me, that's energetically, that's all I can take. I can't take any more, but my day is full. Versus if I had those same 5 spots, but they were filled with 10 clients each, right? Now that's 50 clients I'm serving, same 5 hours, but that allows me to scale. So small group coaching is really beneficial. And then you just need things like Zoom, your Calendly link, working it on LinkedIn, etc. So it's not terribly difficult. My question for you is, when you think about starting your own business, what are you considering? What are you considering as far as what's possible for you, or what kind of business you might want to start? Ooh. Does anybody have any ideas of businesses that they would consider? Is it Shay Shay? Shay Shay Shante? Oh, I see you. I see you in the chat. All right. Online fitness coach, so doable. I know somebody who's doing really well with that. Online consulting business. What would you consult in, Shayla? Publishing. Oh, honey, yes. Definitely need your help. Shayla, what was that?
I would love to do your phasing with different for people in the country, out of the country, using color psychology to help them understand how to get a better usage of their products and get a more bang for their buck in their look, because we're always communicating nonverbal how we dress our face up, and this is what people see when we do business. So that's what my consulting is all about.
Some of that broke up, but it sounded like image consulting. Is that what you were talking about? Like, did you go away? No, you dropped. Okay, but that works. Okay, publishing, photography, dance, group fitness, coaching for women mostly, and brand marketing consulting, LOL. Yes, all of that works, y'all. All of these are doable. My question for you now is, what stands in your way? So when it comes to those of you who have an idea of what you might want to do, what is standing in your way? So Shayla, Tiona, Empress, that is such a cool name. Ashley, Andrea. Oh, what Andrea said, a mobile childcare and eventually childcare facility for children with a special diagnosis. That is freaking cool. I like the idea of the mobile. Dawn, go ahead, Queen. What's standing in your way, Queen?
Oh no, I think I'm like an idea machine for everybody else, but for me, I can't even I can't even think of it. So you asked before if how many of us imagine being entrepreneurs. My mom was a housewife. My dad was like an accountant. So it was just sort of like a straight line. You do things this way. You don't become an artist. You don't do this other stuff. So what I do on the side is I do stand-up comedy performance, but I just got my first coaching client by accident. Like someone saw what I could do, wanted to learn how to do it, and I did it. It went really well. We both had a good experience. But I'm just like, oh my God, what do I do with this? So it's just like, it's just so random. And then, there's the overwhelm, right? Like, how do you take all of these ideas and put them into the structures to make a business like that?
Wow. Online coaching.
I love what you shared, Dawn.
Close mine.
So 2 things, Dawn. I mean, this is something for all of y'all, is that if somebody did approach you and said, how much would you charge me to coach with you? Do you have an answer for that question? Because that's often what happens, is if you're doing your craft and you're doing a good job with it, someone will say, hey, I would love to study underneath you, right? So that's one aspect of it. The other aspect that Dawn brought up is having all these ideas that you can execute, being an idea machine. But so you might have a difficulty executing the ideas yourself, but you can generate them. Okay, that's very common with people with ADHD. It's very, I definitely can relate to that. That's perfect for being a coach, y'all. That's perfect for being a coach. So I struggle with things in my own life, but I can tell my clients who don't have my neurological issues, go do this, right? This is what I would do if I didn't have these things in my way. And even though I might struggle with them, it doesn't mean I can't coach somebody else, right? My client got to $200,000 in 9 months. I've never done that. I've never gotten to $200,000, but I coached somebody else to get to $200,000, right? So don't think that just because you have not done it, or you maybe can't figure it out for yourself, that you can't help somebody else. And another thing you said, Dawn, was that you did the session and then it built your, well, you didn't say this, but this is what I deducted or whatever from what you said, was it built your confidence. For a lot of y'all, you don't believe in yourself. You don't think you can do it. You have all this self-doubt. You have that voice in your head who's constantly talking crap to you. And it's not going to be until you put yourself out there and you get feedback from people that you're going to see your value. Let's say that again. A lot of y'all have like the critic in your head who's telling you that you can't do it. You're not really, you're an imposter. Who are you? You're fraudulent. You can't teach it. You can't even do it yourself. How could you do it, right? That voice is going to be in your head. And until you put yourself out there and get feedback from your people, you're not going to feel confident. So it's important that you put yourself out there. True projector nature. That's funny you said that. I'm a projector too. I know your language, Ashley. So one way that you can do that is do what I'm doing right here, y'all. Do what I'm doing right here. Like go on Eventbrite or somewhere else, because Eventbrite's a pain in the butt sometimes, but go on Eventbrite and throw up an event. Just tell people, I'm going to be hosting a class on whatever. I'm going to be hosting a class on how you can make your image more beautiful. I'm going to be hosting a class on how to declutter your closet. I'm going to be hosting a class on fitness. I'm going to be hosting a class, whatever, right? And just teach. Like maybe you have a 5-step program, teach one step. Teach one step, teach it in depth. And the whole point of that exchange is there's two points. You want people to know, like, and trust you, and start building that community, right? So people can feel like, oh yeah, I like her, I could work with her, right? And then at the end, you want them to invite them to book a call with you. So spoiler alert, I'm gonna invite you to book a call with me. That's what's gonna happen at the end of this. So on one hand, it can help you build your business. On the other hand, it also helps you build your confidence, because people go, oh my God, that was great. That was amazing. Or I've never heard that term before. Or wow, you put me on this idea. And then you start to see your value. You start to see your value. And then when it's time to promote yourself or go live or do the thing, whatever the thing is, you're not going to shy away from it the same way, because you understand that there's people who are desperate for what it is you have to offer. And the more you do it, the more you will show up and really get that it's kind of your duty. Like it's your job to let your clients know that you're out here, right? If I didn't do this, would you know that I existed, right? You probably wouldn't. And there's not a lot of business coaches who are focused on Black women, and especially neurodivergent Black women. Like I don't know any of them, right? I don't know any of them. And this space, this entrepreneurial space, is a very fraternity, like bro space, like. And the whole grind, the hustle and grind, get up at 3 a.m. No. How about no, right? My whole point of this space is to have a softer life, an easier life. That the days when I wake up and I'm super tired and I don't want to be bothered, I don't have to be, right? The days I just want to sit around and have a salad and a green juice and just look at the birds and forget what time it is, I can do that. I need that as a Black woman. I need that. And I definitely need that as a Black woman living with multiple deadly mental health issues. I mean, I have 4 different sources of depression, right? I've been suicidal since age 10. Since age 10, I've been dealing with suicidality. And so I had to come to terms with, none of these jobs are going to care for me the way I need to be cared for. None of them. None of them. And if I can't figure out how to make money for myself, I'm screwed. So I want y'all to know this is possible. So here's what I'm gonna do with you. I'm gonna share a little bit more, but I also want to share this. I normally charge $99 to jump on the phone with me, but for y'all on this call, we can talk for $25. I charge something. The reason why I charge something is because I invest in my clients. I go hard for y'all. I am adamant about fighting white supremacy, and the way I do it is I empower Black women, because if I can get y'all to divest from capitalism and from making white men richer and pouring into our community, what happens is Black women uplift the entire community. That's how you uplift a community, is you invest in the women, and then the women invest in everybody else. So I pour into my clients. When we meet, you're going to leave with 50,000 ideas, things you can work with. And if at the end of the call, you're not blown away, you can have your $25 back. But I've never had anybody ask their money back because they're always blown away. So that's available to you. And I want you to understand it's possible. That's the biggest thing I want to share with Black women, period, is that if you're at your wits' ends with your job, if you're just like, I don't know if I can go in another day and I don't know what I'm going to do, otherwise, you absolutely can start your own business. It does not have to be difficult at all. It is a mindset shift. You are going to have to do things differently, but the freedom is insane. And once you get a taste of the freedom and you see the healthiest version of yourself, you can't go back. So as a result of me pouring into myself, my mental health, I lost 40 pounds, y'all. I got up to 183. I got down to 143. I wasn't trying. I wasn't dieting and exercising and cutting my diet and counting calories. Nah, I was just pouring into me. I was doing things that made me happy. I would go walking when I got stressed, or I would play tennis. I was swimming. I was dancing. I was living my life. And in the process, dropped 40 pounds, right? I haven't been this weight since like high school. My mental health is fantastic. I've been able to manage my bipolar without medication, right? I'm not on medication. My medication is my nature walk, my sleep, reducing my stress, eating right, my supplements, right? So it's been tremendous. My relationship with my children has improved. I'm a lot less impatient, right? Because when we're stressed out, we're not the best version of ourselves, right? I can get real nasty when I'm not taking care of myself. And when I was adhering to this job and trying to take care of everybody else and not me, it wasn't cute. So it does require a lifestyle shift, but it's for the better, because what is the alternative? The alternative is that we're dying early deaths, and it's not necessary and it's not fair. So I'm going to drop this in the chat. If you want to book a call with me, I have limited spots, and I'm not just saying that, that's for real, because I prioritize my wellness. So if you book a call with me while we're on this call, it will be $25, and for the next like 24 hours. And this is a great opportunity for you to invest in you, because Black women invest in everybody else. Everybody else. And the sad truth is nobody is investing in us. No one is coming for us. No one is going to save us. And if I hadn't saved myself, I promise you, if I had stayed on that job, I would have ended my life. I would have ended my life. My depression got so bad in 2021. And that was my wake-up call of I'm out of, like, I can't manage this. What I'm doing right now is not sustainable if I don't change up my life. Because I'm high functioning, right? A lot of us are high functioning with our mental health conditions. And so it's not until you get to your breaking point that you realize this is not sustainable and I can't continue to live like this, and it's just not working for me. So you can have that. So what is it like when we work together? So I do small groups. It is, and when I say small, I mean small. So my biggest class was 5. Currently I have 2 classes, I think of like 3, and we get really, really close. My queens, we usually meet once a week. It's about 90 minutes where we train together and we work together, and it's peaceful, it's joyful, we laugh, we enjoy it, right? Because we get really close, we become sisters. A lot of times we end up doing business together. 3 of my queens from one of my cohorts started a business together called Black Women, what was it? Black Women Joy, something about that, like about encouraging Black women to have more joy in their lives. And they started a business around joy. And that's the thing too, is your business should sustain you. It should be work that you enjoy doing, that lights you up, that makes you happy and pays you really well. And for a lot of Black women, we don't allow ourselves to be compensated really well for things that come easy to us, because our mindset is, I have to suffer. The ancestors suffered, I have to suffer too. And in your own business, you absolutely don't have to suffer. You can be real choosy about who you work with, when you work. Like I said, I start my day at 11 a.m. I've got East Coast clients. That means they can't book a call with me till 2 p.m. So be it. That's what it is to work with me, right? I get to choose that for myself because that's what works best for me. I'm going to stop talking for just a moment. What did I say that resonated with you? Are you feeling more hopeful about what's possible for you? Because that's really important to me. So let me remove my spotlight. spotlight somebody else. Are you feeling more hopeful? Oh, Melissa, I see you. And you're off of mute. Did you want to share something? That's a great picture. I don't know if it's a picture or just it froze. It's cute though. That's a great picture, Melissa. Did you want to share anything, Queen? How come I can't hear you? If you're saying something, I can't hear you. I apologize. Maybe it's me. But feel free to put it in the chat. Oh, there you are, Melissa. All right.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yay.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so
Queen.
much. This has really been very enlightening. So I just wanted to thank you for it. And, you know, the part that resonated about the freedom, that is something that I definitely know. And that is the part that I am seeking. So I'm definitely glad to hear your pearls of wisdom. I'm definitely paying attention.
So listen, beautiful people, and I appreciate all of that. I have another event. I'm gonna put it in the chat too. Why is this thing being so silly? That was me. It's a self-love class that I do on Eventbrite, and that's going to be on the 30th. I would love to see y'all there as well. And that really just helps us to remember to pour back into ourselves. I appreciate that, Melissa. Yes, the freedom is so important, y'all. Like, you need the freedom to just be, and you haven't had it, and you're so used to not having it that you're just like, But imagine that, like, for those of us who menstruate or who still menstruate, imagine being able to like work around your energy levels, right? Like, I don't do a lot during the weeks of my period's coming. I take that time out for myself. Whereas when I was on the plantation or at my job, they expect you to perform at the same level as men. They treat you like a man, right? And you're constantly having to show up in a space that for a lot of us is unnatural. It's unnatural. Like, it's exhausting for those of us who have a lot of feminine energy to be in our masculine energy. It wears us out. And when you have your own business, y'all, you get, first of all, what I teach my queens to do is you have to get to know yourself again. Because for so many of us, we have assimilated, acquiesced so much that we've lost touch with what brings me joy, what makes me happy, what do I need to thrive and to live on my terms, right? So like I said, starting my day at 11 a.m. It took me a minute to get there. I was like, oh, maybe I should start it earlier to accommodate other people. But I was like, why though? Right? I was like, why though? And I'm not pleasant before 11 a.m. Anybody want to talk to me before 11 a.m.? You don't, right? So, or the thing when I was decided, like, I'm gonna work Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, right? I was just like, every time the Monday came around, I was like, I don't really want to be doing this. Every time Friday showed up, I was like, I don't want to take no appointments, right? So coming to terms with that, or realizing like I can't work back to back. I don't take back to back appointments. I don't do back to back classes. So I might have a class for 90 minutes. I'm gonna take a 90-minute break, maybe a 3-hour break, and then another class, right? I don't do back to back. Like, I can't go back to work and just work 8 hours straight anymore. Cause I'm just like, what? Like, there's no breaks. Like, I just can't do it. I need to be able to take a nap whenever, right? Like, I took a nap before this class, right? Take a walk whenever, jump on the phone with somebody, eat a really good meal. I just need a lot of downtime. And the reality is so do you. So do you. You may not be getting it, but you still need it. It's still required. You may not be getting it. And as a result, you know, your health is suffering, your mental health is suffering, you're not doing well, but you still need that. And as a Black woman in this country, the assault on us never ends. If it ain't racism, it's sexism. If it ain't sexism, it's one of the other, the ableism, it's ageism, it's homophobia, it's all the other things that you might be dealing with, classism. It's exhausting. And the other reason why it's important for you to invest in you and choose you is because you have so many people counting on you. You have so many people counting on you. There are so many balls that you have to keep in the air. There are so many things that are that only you can do. And if you come crashing down, it all comes crashing down. That's the same talk I had to have with myself of it. If I don't take my health seriously and really do everything it takes to keep me alive, my kids are going to suffer. How am I going to bring Black kids into this world and then take my life and leave them to navigate this world by themselves? But that's what I was contemplating, because I didn't know how I was going to get through this life. And so I had to get really clear about, it's not just my life on the line, it's the life of my kids as well. And if I can't figure this out, they're screwed. And as a result of coming over on the other side, I now spend more time. I spend so much time with my kids because that's usually the goal. Like, I want to spend more time with my kids. I spend so much time with my kids. Now I'm like, how can I get you in summer camp next summer? Because we didn't spend too much time together, right? Like, I'm like, you got to go. But I have that freedom now where like all summer they were at home. I'm able to work, but it's only a couple hours a day. And, we chilled every day, all day. That's available to me, right? And I'm such a better mom now because I poured into me, and they understand that my mental health equates to their health. And not only that, but now they say things like my little girl approached her brother and was like, can I play basketball with you? And he was like, you can play basketball with me. But if I start getting frustrated, I'm going to walk away because mom taught me to prioritize my mental health. So when you start pouring into you and prioritizing you and making you the center of your universe, sometimes we think that everybody else can be mad at us, but actually it makes everything better. It makes everything better. Yeah, absolutely. And you need to model this for your children. You need to, especially your little girls, they need to see the women in their lives choosing themselves, prioritizing themselves, not waiting for some man to do it or some job to do it or some outside external force to do it, but for me to do it for myself. It makes a huge difference. So I would love to talk to y'all, whether we end up working together or not. Like I said, if the call doesn't work out for you, you can have your $25 back. But I really want you, I would love to just work with whatever your individual dream is to help you get that ball rolling. Because sometimes all it just takes just a little push, right? Because every day you're building momentum, and every day you can be taking a step towards that dream. And for some of you, I mean, you being on this call is a step. It's 40 people signed up for this, but y'all are the 12 that showed up, right? And that means something. That's not by accident. You're not here by accident. It's because something in you is ready for something else. And I know that feeling. I was there in 2018. I was like, what we're doing is not sustainable. It's a conversation I had with myself, right? I'm sure I'm not the only one who talks to themselves, right? But I was like, this is not sustainable. You have to go for it. I know you're scared, but you have to start your business, and just every day, just making that progress. I'll tell you another thing that y'all can do, and I'll send you this article. Another thing you can do to start making this progress is update your LinkedIn. I wrote a whole article about it. I think I already sent it to you, but I'll send it to you again. But especially if you're in the entrepreneurial space, start letting people know what you have to offer. LinkedIn is a really great platform. And the reason why I talk about that one is because that's where the money is, y'all. That is where the money is. It's not on TikTok and Facebook and Twitter. Nah, people on Facebook are broke. People, on those other platforms, that's people go to get their mind off of their money problems. Okay, right? When I'm on TikTok when I'm trying to avoid, right, looking at my bills, is not where I go to do business transactions. LinkedIn is constructed for business transactions. People expect you to slide into their DMs with some offer because that's what the platform is for. And people tend to think of that platform as, oh, that's where you go to find a job. Honey, that's where you go to find your high ticket client. So the reason why, again, that I had a 6-figure contract with San Francisco Unified School District as a brand new anti-racist consultant was because of the authority I was able to build on LinkedIn. I was able to connect with a woman who is in charge of Black Women Empowered Network, 4 million Black women worldwide. She is now in business with Dr. Knowles, AKA Beyonce's daddy, okay? This woman's in my phone. Where did I meet her? On LinkedIn. I was featured in a book by this really well-known author. Met her on LinkedIn. Been on all these podcasts. I was on Ebony's podcast. How did I get on Ebony's podcast? LinkedIn. So I'm an expert in LinkedIn. If that's something else that we can talk about when you book your $25 call, is how you can start building your business there. You do not have to be on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and all the places, right? Really, you can just stick to LinkedIn, because those people, I'll give you a couple of quick facts. On average, the people on Facebook make, it was like $35,000 a year. On LinkedIn, 45% on more. 45% make $75,000 and up. So what that means is the people who can afford your high ticket offer are on LinkedIn. The gatekeepers to the contracts you want with the businesses that can give you the 6-figure or 7-figure offer, they're on LinkedIn, right? The people who can get you on the news, on their podcasts, who can really open doors for you are on LinkedIn. So that is why I really reiterate that platform as far as how you can grow your business. And one thing I show, or the one thing that I am all about is, again, peaceful profits. As a Black woman who has 2 children, an 11-year-old and a 9-year-old, and 4 mental health conditions, I cannot afford to work hard. So I don't, right? I don't do all the things. I don't get up at 6 a.m. I don't hustle and grind. I've just figured out the easiest ways to make things work for me, and they have, right? So like I said, one of the things I do is I promote a free class on Eventbrite or just wherever, right? Whatever talent you have, tell people you have it. Tell people that I'm going to be showcasing this talent. Come check it out. And then from there, you can end up getting clients. Advertise on LinkedIn, build your network on LinkedIn. That's another way that you can do this. It doesn't have to be hard at all. You don't need degrees. You don't need a gazillion followers. You don't even need to have an idea necessarily about what you want to do. We can work, tease that out. So that is it. I want to see if there's any questions or anything that I can answer before I wrap it up. Because I actually have another thing to do at 7. I want to give myself a little bit of time. But is there any questions I can answer for you beautiful people before we wrap up? That's such a cool picture, Melissa. It makes me so happy. I like all this purple. Shay, Shantae. Shay, Shantae.
Thank you so much.
Who is that? Who said what?
That was me. Thank you so much. I was really trying to hide in that picture. So that's why I'm saying thank you so much. I was trying to hide.
Why are you trying to hide? We see you.
Yeah, I'm just trying to hide. But thank you so much. I'm feeling good. I'm going to roll with it.
I want you to roll with it. And Queens, here's the thing, y'all, is that make your message and what it is you have to give bigger than you. And what I mean by that is that I could easily be like, why would I get up on the internet and tell people about mental health conditions? Like, why would I even have that conversation with folks? But my message is bigger than my fear about what people are gonna say. Because I know at the end of the day, every time I talk about this, lives are saved. Lives are saved. I call myself Sharla Stevens and the ancestors for a reason. When I was facing ending my life, I thought about going back to the ancestors and telling them that I did not achieve my goal, telling them that I failed, that I couldn't do it. And that was the thing that kept me from ending my life, was I couldn't fathom going back to the ancestors with all of the gifts and all the blessings that have been given to me and telling them I couldn't do it. And so when I want to play small, I remember that. And it pushes me forward. That commitment, that joy, that purpose becomes more important to me than whether or not, my concealer is perfectly blended in or my nail polish is chipped and my fingers are stains. Like, I'm not going to let that keep me from giving my gift. And I need to know at the end of my life that when I report back to the ancestors and report back to God, that I did my mission. That's very important to me. So I want y'all to fall more in love with your purpose than your fear, right? Let go of the fear, right? Let go of the what will happen and what people gonna say and all of that, and really fall in love with all the people who are waiting for you. Because I'm gonna share this one last piece, and I really am gonna go. People can have your recipe, but they can't bake your cake. You could have my whole script, right? You could have my whole script, but you can't present this the way I would present it, in the same way I can't present it the way that you would present it. And the truth is, there is nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing that you can say that's brand new, nothing that I could say that's brand new. However, the way that you say it, could land for somebody in a way that wouldn't land otherwise, right? You've heard people say the same things, right? But somebody says it to you in a way that, oh my God, all of a sudden it hits you like, oh, I felt that. That's you. That's you. Your people, your tribe, your crew, your clients, they're waiting for you. I can go out there and say the exact same thing you would say, and it will not land because they're not looking for me. They're looking for you. And the other thing about that is they're not looking for the fake ass version of you. Forgive me, I curse a lot. They're not looking for the filtered version of you, the perfectly polished version of you. They're looking for the real, authentic you, as is, with all your weird little quirks and the bizarre things you do. That you, not the one that you think, oh, well, let me work on my accent and let me stop talking with my hands and wait till my nails are done. Nah. Just go out there and be you. And the thing too is that people don't resonate with perfection. We don't like it.
We don't like it. We want to know that you're just as broken and effed up as us, because then you're relatable, right? Like if I told you, oh, I've always had a great life with work and always made great money, that's not relatable. But when I say, yo, I was constantly living in my car, I got 3 degrees, y'all, but still was constantly living in my car, that makes me relatable. When I talk about, I got 4 mental health conditions, I was considering killing myself multiple times throughout my life, that makes me relatable. So don't hold back. Don't wait until it's perfect. We don't like perfect. Perfect sucks, right? I don't identify with perfect. Perfect makes me feel bad about myself. But when you tell me that you've been in the trenches and then you got out of the trenches, it makes me feel like I can get out too. I can get out too. So I really encourage you, don't stand in your own way. Your people, your tribe, they're waiting for you. Your clients are waiting for you. They need you. And something about the way that you would convey the message is going to land in a way that it won't land with anybody else. It's not about, well, the market's saturated and everybody is already doing it. Who gives a shit? Like there's billions of people on planet Earth, right? There's billions. You can't serve them all anyway. I don't want every Black woman to be my client, right? I couldn't handle it. I only want maybe 10, 20. That's all I want. That's all I want. Which means I don't care if there's other Black coaches doing the same thing. Good. Because somebody has to serve the other millions of people. I can't serve them all. Right? So you don't have to be worried if other people are doing what you're doing. You don't have to be worried about getting in your own way. Like just really think about how your clients are waiting for you. And how if you don't show up and tell them what you have to offer, they ain't gonna get it. It is up to you to let them know who you are, what you got for them, and then put yourself out there so you're available. And yes, you're going to have to work through some shit, some fears to do that. But I encourage you to do it anyway. Because what really motivated me, like I said, is I think about the end of my life a lot. And not just I deal with mental health issues, but also just I reflect on that day is going to come, right? I want to feel good about my life. I want to feel good that I lived this life. I didn't live a scared, small life. I went for it. And if I fell on my face, fuck it, I fell on my face. Because at the end of your life, what's going to matter to you is, did you try? Not did you win? Did you try? Did you go for it? Did you get on the field? Did you play? Right? That's what's going to matter to you. Not whether or not you won, whether or not you made it. And the thing is that until you try, you'll never know what you can make. I didn't know I could do I made $119,000 first year in my business. I didn't know I could do that. I didn't know I could coach a client to $200,000 in 9 months. I didn't know I could do that. She told me when she filed her taxes. I was like, I did that? She was like, yes, Queen, that was you. I was like, you don't know what you can do until you go for it. So I encourage y'all to go for it. Find your $25. It's less than it takes to get a manicure, y'all. And let's see what's possible. I'm the real deal. Hopefully you can feel that from this whole exchange. I'm about it, right? I'm enthusiastic. I'm serious about this work. And if you're serious about this, if this is something you're passionate about, we can do that. We can make it happen. Last thing I want to say about something that I think Don said. He said something about structure. So that structuring it all up, your package. That's another area that we can get scared or get nervous about. How do I arrange it? How do I make it all work? What I can teach you is how to really trust in yourself. And when you trust in yourself, it flows through you. And you just trust that whatever flows through you is what needs to flow through you. I'll give you an example. I did not work that hard on this class tonight. I didn't. I just trusted. I meditated. I worked in a different way. I didn't work like this. I worked by getting aligned. I worked by doing something fun, tie-dyeing. I worked by meditating. I worked by taking a nap. I worked by eating foods that were really good for me. And then just trusting that what needed to flow through me would. I talked to the ancestors beforehand. I prayed beforehand and just, I'm your vessel, right? Like whoever needs to show up will be there. Just what needs to come through me will come through me. When you learn to trust yourself and stand in your divine feminine energy, that's how you'll show up. And what that means is you're not doing hours and hours and hours of preparation. You're letting it flow through you because you're already at the stage. Think about times in your life where you gave somebody advice in passing. You didn't prepare for that. But something just flowed out of your mouth that totally changed your life. You didn't stay up researching that. It was just you showing up. And so it's more about trusting. It's about having the space where we're rested and relaxed and at our prime state, right? We're thriving. So then it can just flow through you because that's divine feminine energy. Ashley, very relatable. I thank you. It's wild because I almost missed this. I'm only here because the power went out of my job and they sent us home. See, and we can think that that's a coincidence. That ain't no coincidence. That was your angels, Ashley. Because a lot of times we'll think that way, like, oh my God, what a coincidence! It's a miracle. Our lives are divinely orchestrated, right? They're divinely ordered. We think that it's just like, oh, I can't believe that. No, it's supposed to be. Y'all, the 12 of you that are here, you're supposed to be here. You're supposed to be here. We were supposed to meet. I don't know what that means for our lives. I don't know if that means I'll see you the next couple days or next year or years from now, but there's a reason why we cross paths. There's a reason why. And as far as I can tell, all 12 of you stayed out throughout the whole call. That's pretty amazing. So don't sleep on that, y'all. Don't let this be another thing where you're like, that was great. Yay, right? And nothing changes. That's the last thing I'm gonna say to you. What is one tiny little thing that you can commit to that you're gonna move forward with from this conversation? So I'm gonna ask you to put that in your chat. What is one tiny little step? Because you don't have to make big steps. Just progress every day. Progress. What is one thing that you can do in order to make the most out of this time together? So I'm gonna wait for you in the chat because I used to be a teacher. I can wait. So Shay, Shantae, Shayla, Brandy, Onilaja, Tiona, Andrea, Candine? That's a cool name. Sorry if I said it wrong, Queen. Jeanette, Dawn, Melissa, what's one thing that you can do? Adding dates to my business plan. Okay, we could do that, Dawn. Also visualize, y'all. Prioritize my time. Absolutely, Brandy. Yes, get that rest you need, especially as a caregiver, honey. And feel free to come off and mute if you want to share any thoughts or anything that you want to do, any commitments you want to make as far as moving towards making progress in your life. Or if you want to share about your struggles with mental health, I have a couple more minutes if you want to talk about what that's been like for you. Feel free. Take a breath. Yes, Jeanette. Step outside. Oh, now y'all blowing it up. Step outside my fear. Yes, Shayla, just one step outside your fear, Queen. Paying for a P.O. box to start an LLC. Yes. Getting out there and putting my service into action. Yes. Y'all, nobody said nothing about LinkedIn. Get on LinkedIn. Get on LinkedIn. I will send you, if I haven't already, I'll send you my article about 11 tips you can use on LinkedIn. One big one is that on LinkedIn, there's this billboard space behind you. Most people don't do anything with that space. That's a great place to tell people what you have to offer. So mine would say something like, reach out to me about business coaching or LinkedIn profile makeover or whatever, but advertise what it is you have going on LinkedIn. I need to use my LinkedIn, please. Yes, Ashley. So I will follow up with all of you via email. You'll see my LinkedIn article. The link will be in there to schedule a call. Yeah, I got LinkedIn tips for days, honey. I got LinkedIn tips for days. So I have two things. The article I'll send you is 11 tips. That's free. But I also do a LinkedIn profile makeover class, and we could talk about that if you're interested in getting your LinkedIn up and running, because that is a great way and an easy way to get your business flowing. And most people sleep on that platform because it's boring. It's a boring platform, but because it's boring, it's easy to stand out. Another quick LinkedIn tip. Most people don't post on LinkedIn. Only 1% to 2% of people post on LinkedIn. If you start posting, you will start standing out. Yeah, somebody may have your recipe, but can't bake your cake. Ain't that the truth? Because you've had Big Mama's recipe, right? For whatever, right? There was a recipe for ours. It was a monkey bread. Nobody could make that monkey bread the way Big Mama could. Same damn recipe, right? But nobody could make it like she could make it. And there's just something about that, right? So know that. Don't get caught up in what anybody else is doing. Don't compare yourself to other people. Just do your thing. And there's enough people and enough money out here for you, right? There's no one person who's going to monopolize all the money. Like, you can go ahead and get it for yourself as well. So I look forward to seeing you guys at my next event. It is a self-love event. It's August 30th. Please tell all the homies. I will be sending out an email to you that you'll receive my link to schedule a call and my LinkedIn tips. And if I also have I have a YouTube channel, I have a podcast, I have a Facebook group, I have a lot of stuff for you. So I will send that to you so that you have access to these things. And I just want y'all to know over and over again, I'm gonna say it till I'm blue in the face, it's possible. Your dream is possible. I fantasize about the life that I lived in 2021, in 2018. I remember looking at a journal and I've written it all out, and I was living that life by 2021. It's possible, and it can happen faster than you think. So let's talk about it. And it's a great way to really take care of your mental health is when you are in charge of your time and your energy. Nobody is coming to save us. I love y'all. Thank you for coming out. I gotta wrap this up. Let me see your faces one more time. If you don't mind coming off camera and just saying goodbye, that'd be great. Bye, Don. Bye, Melissa. Bye, Onilaja. Bye, Candy. Candy, I don't know if I say your name right. Candane, Brandy. Bye, Shayla. Bye, Tiona. Bye, Jeanette. Bye, Andrea. Bye, Shay Shantae. I hope to see y'all in my next class. Good, Tiona. I'll talk to you soon, Queen. Bye, y'all. Shay Shantae. Like that name. Shay Shantae.